Adam 23. Adam and Eve, were they created in the image of God? Were Adam and Eve created in the image of God? Well, we know that this is one of the first revelations of the Bible. In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26, God says, "Let us make man in our image as our likeness," and he dominates the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky and all the beasts that crawl on the ground. God created man in his image, in the image of God he created him, man and woman he created them. So, of course, some people amused themselves in the 19th century by saying, "So God has a body, and if man had a trunk like an elephant, then God would have a trunk, like some gods of God." India. Evidently these words of God concern the soul. They speak of salvation, they do not concern the body. God does not have a body. To understand what this text means, there are two things. To be in the image of God means to be in a likeness of one's own mind for spirit. To be in the likeness of God, there on the other hand, it can speak of a metaphor in the behavior of the human being, something that by image, resembling God. Well, in the true sense of the word, the image is in every human person, whether man or woman, in his mind. When we look at the mind of man, we see that, as soon as it exists and can be exercised, its first function is that of intelligence. With his intelligence the man knows things he is watching in front of him. And then, because he knows them, in the second place, he can do good and go to those things, with all his heart, with that love. This love of intelligence is called the will, because the love of the mind is to want good for someone, for example, that he chooses as a good. Well, in God, it's the same thing. In the only God who is, who has always been, the first operation of his Spirit, which is identical to his essence, consists in knowing himself eternally, and this knowledge is called the eternal Word, which is also called the Son. So the Father knows himself and his Son is his own knowledge. In the second place, proceeding from the Father and the Son, because they love each other infinitely, love arises, springs up, and it is the Holy Spirit. We see, then, that there is in God the same order that we find in the human mind, and that, therefore, the structure in quotation marks of God is in the image, or rather has created a human being, whose mind is structured in the image of God. But we can also find another order, this time on the side of the nobility of operations. Everything starts from the Father, in the Trinity, and the Father is attributed power because He is never born, He is eternal and He fades away, knowing Himself. In His Son, He exalts His Son who is His own knowledge of Himself. And His Son and His Father, the Father and the Son, in the Trinity, put forth what springs up between them, their love to know the Holy Spirit, as if the third person of the Trinity was the ultimate mystery of God, love. Well, in the same way in the man, when one is in the image of God, our efficiency is important, but it is at the service of this knowledge which makes it possible to move in the life, and this knowledge itself, it is at the service of a greater love for God and for the neighbor. We can say that everything ends, if we are in the image of God in His behavior, in the love of God and the love of neighbor. There is also here an image of the order of what is essential for God. So, after describing some aspects, and there are many others, of the image of God in man, we have to look at some aspects of what is the likeness. Well, the resemblance is something more metaphorical but still very strong, and sometimes speaks more. Man and woman He made them. It means that the man and the woman love each other, unite lovingly, and from this union springs a different being, fruit of their love, which is their child. So there is a fertility, and we see metaphorically the same thing in God. The Father who knows himself is the Son. The Son is identical to the Father because the Father knows himself perfectly. From their mutual love flows the Holy Spirit, who is like the fruit of the two, to the point that they form, one could say metaphorically, a single pulpit, a little like the man and the woman who unite, form only one being. This is obviously metaphorical, since they are two beings and their union springs the child. What is certain in any case is that the human family, such as God created man and woman, is open to love and fertility. Things are united naturally, through mutual giving. In God, ultimately, the life of God is the same thing. It springs in love and fertility, and this fruitfulness extends to creation, since the Holy Spirit, the Father and the Son, to share, without it bringing them anything, create little beings to whom they give the opportunity to share the same happiness.